All right, so I'm going to put this on the
Discord.
yeah. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna put this on YouTube as just a setting up a trade on Bidnex, so that way you have it. Okay, so the first thing is um, you scroll down. You have your current equity is 30, available margin is 30. So that's what's in the wallet, and then available margin is what is able to actually um, be used. So here we have a equity is 30, available is 30. All right, so setting up a trade. So first thing is first, you make sure it's on cross, right? And then the
It's
next
not
thing is,
across.
yeah, it's on cross. You're talking about the
Okay.
leverage, right? Cross, it's on cross. And then you have where the top one is the long leverage, right? We're gonna put this at 100. The bottom one is the short leverage. We have 122. We're gonna confirm that. All right. Second thing is the price, right? We're always doing limits, so that means we're setting the price we'd like. If we're having to do a short and we're looking to get in right away, then the price would just have to be lower than the current price that it is, right? So right now it's at 105,794, 105,800. So we'd have to be anything below that to activate a price right now. Now let's say if we're looking for the price to bounce up first, maybe get back up to 105,900. Then when we set that buy, that would be putting us in a position where um, the price would have to go back up to that level. So what I'm going to do is get into a short right now. I'm going to put it at 105,750. I'm going to do
What do you
50%.
what do you what do you put the trigger at?
With a limit, right? So if you want to get into an order right now, it has to be lower than the current price. So there is no trigger. There's limit, market, right? So on the limit, it would have to be 105, less than 10, the current price, which is 105,768, right? So I'd have to put something like 105,700, right? So I'm gonna do 30% of this first entry, and that's because it's gonna be an active entry, right? Which means it's lower than the current price is, so it should go into a short automatically right now. So that's how you start. If you're doing a long, well then the long would just be putting a price that's higher than the current price. So if the price is 105,800, then you put 105,850, right? As long as the price is higher than the current price on a long, it'll enter right away. On a short, it has to be lower than the current price, right? Now
Right.
let's say that we have our short here. Let's say that we wanted to set up the other 50% of this short on a limit order, meaning that we're thinking that it's going to bounce up and maybe go back up to 105,850, right? So then we just type in the number that we think is going to be our entry price for the next short. We do our order or whatever we want. So out of the $30, it's currently $30, 50% of it's in a trade, which leaves an available margin of $15. So let's do this other $15 at 105,800, right? Which is current price is 105,760. So we'll be higher than the current price. We're going to use the last $15 if it does go back up there and hit that price. And then our stop loss and our take profit, we need to turn those into return on investments, ROIs. Once those are there, we can then type in, okay, so TP, we're going to put for 100%. Our stop loss is going to be 30 on this, and then we're going to open the short. Now what this is going to be,
For the top one's gonna be the TP is gonna be
100.
100. And for stop losses, we're gonna set that for
30.
30.
So for you, right, so for you, you'd be just setting the basic 60-30.
Okay, 60.
Okay. Now because this price is 105,800, which is higher than the current price on this short, right? So it has to actually go back up to that price to trigger the trade, and then it'll start going from there. Okay, because it's not a live trade; it's in the open orders. So if I go to my open orders, you can see that there's a trade that is set up for average price, right? It's going to always tell you what your price is. 105,800 is my average price. That's going to be the short that I want to open. My take profit would be 104,932, and my stop loss would be 106,601. And I can always edit that as well. But that last one is waiting for the price to go back up to 105,800 to trigger the entry, which if I look at my chart, you can see on the chart there's a limit order there. And I can always adjust that limit order based on, you know, how I feel. If the coin is bouncing real heavy, let's say I move my order from 105,800 and I move it up to and say, you know what, I think I'm going to move it to 105,850, right? So now that order limit can move up to those positions if that's something that I'm trying to change. And a lot of times if you try to move it, it doesn't move. It's because you already have all your funds are invested somewhere, so it changes it. So then you would just go to your open order, you would cancel it and say, you know what, I'm going to raise this up to 105,850 as my entry. I'm going to do 100% of the $15 that is left. My stop loss and return on investment. I'm going to put, I want to make 100% on the take profit, and I want a 30% stop loss, and then open short. Now that's going to readjust the lines, and you can see that it's now at 1,850 for the limit order. Stop loss is higher, and then the take profit is a little bit taller. Now that order will stay there.
We don't do anything on leverage, on adjusting the leverage or anything like that. Leverage over long.
Now, the leverage is already set. So once you set it, it stays there. So once I put it at 100x for longs and 122 for shorts, it stays there. So for you want to put yours at, with Bitcoin, you want to sit at about 75% on your short and 50%, you know, or 75% on your longs and 75% on your shorts.
75% on the short. 75.
Yeah.
Okay, that's for the adjust leverage, right?
Ninja, what up, bro? Yo, Ninja, what's going on, man?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's it. That's how you set the orders, and then the limit orders basically, you know, they have to fill. So once you pick the price you want to get into, then it has to, you know, kind of ride that price. Once it becomes an open order, it becomes a position, meaning that it got filled, then they'll all be in these positions. So now once you have a position, like I already have a position order here for the other $15, that went in right away because the price on a short was shorter than the current price, and it activates right away, right? So if you're going up and on a long, if you put the coin higher than the current price, it will buy down to the current price. If you're shorting and you put the price lower than the current price, it will buy up to the current price, right? Just think of it like this: you can't buy something cheaper than it is to go long, and you can't short something for more than it is. So if it's $1, you got to go long at $1.01, or if you're going short, you got to go 99 cents. It has to be either buying it more for what it currently is to go long, or buying it for less than it is currently go short. Okay? So that's pretty much it. So I'll stop this video here and how to buy, and that's pretty much how it's done. You know, finding the basics of the trade that we have. So last time we looked at this trade, we had closed off on the 101,600 area in the white arrow and the last bottom chamber, right? So which was right here is where we left off, and this is where we were. I think we're looking for our yeah, here we go. So we got a change of alert that Bitcoin was changing direction, and that's the white box or the blue box, right? So the basics is setting up this trade is always going to be the same thing, right? So the very first thing is we have to trade with the wave, the volume, and the plus. Mark Woods, what up, baby? All right, guys, so listen, Welcome all the ninjas in here, man. If the ninjas are in here, say hi. And if you are in the Carlos, if you're alive, I like the live, thanks, man. And don't forget, Carlos, you can head over to the. If you guys haven't checked out Ninja Coin, you guys could check out Ninja Coin on Dex Tools, and there is the Telegram as well. So if you want to go over there, Carlos, and let them know that we're live right now, they can come on over, bring over some ninjas. But what we're going to look here is this section here that we left off. So what we were doing here during this section here was, you can see this blue arrow here. And at this time we were notifying that, place, oh god, okay. So we were looking for eventually a long position from Bitcoin when it was currently sitting at, let's see here, about 103, and it came down to 101. So now the question is, how do we prepare for the longs, et cetera, et cetera? So the first thing is, you know, this is what you want to learn. It's the same thing. DJ Virus, what's up? We're going to do this over and over. So the first thing is to set up our boxes. The blue boxes here that you see represent the 2-hour RSIs. And then the, let me turn this blue into like a light blue. There we go. And then the white boxes are the, you know, 4-hour RSIs. So here we currently have our 2-hour RSI moving up, which just lets us know that there is a change of momentum, et cetera, et cetera. And we're going to go down here and dig into this. So there's a change of momentum. It just means that, you know, volume is starting to, you know, go a certain direction, or the relative strength index, which is the RSI, which is what you're focusing on, is letting you know that people at this particular time are either buying or selling the current asset that you're looking at, right? So let's take a look here. So here we can see that we were getting our blue box here, right? And you can see this is where the blue box broke the 20. We're going to rotate this over to here. And this is when the 2-hour broke the 20. And you can see here on the 2-hour, you see how the RSI came up, came back down, right? And this is going to create a bounce, right? So it's just like a candle getting rejected right down here. You see this? So it breaks up, comes back down, and then it has another section right here that it eventually breaks back up through. And that's the 2-hour that we're going to take a look at. Control Z right over here. So it's just in this sections, guys. So it's learning how to trade, guys. Like, it just comes down to, like, don't forget to hit the likes on the video, guys. We need to get 10,000 likes. It's just showing you that when this momentum is building, right? You see between these two blue lines here, that's when it originally broke above the green 20 line, and then it comes back down. You can see that it's starting to build its momentum, right? You know, this is why the 2-hour is our area of kind of an alert of what's coming next, and then we need confirmation. Confirmation comes off of the 4-hour RSI breaking above the 20, right? So you can see here we had a nice little move here. It got into this point here, created some volume here, not a bad situation here, created a bounce right there. Then it doesn't reach the 100, comes back down, and then we're going to get into another situation where the 20 line actually breaks up. All right, so now we have a 2-hour. Let's go back over here, look at the 4-hour. Because the 4-hour is where we actually eat, right? And the 4-hour is where you're going to see the 4-hour actually break above this green line. So you see these two, red and yellow, right? It hasn't broke above it. I anticipated, and I figured that it would break somewhere around this point here, right? I was actually, it rejected off of that line, which is, you know, pretty cool. But it didn't break. It should have broke right here. It rejected, and it wanted to build more momentum. So then it didn't actually cross until right here. So this is where we get into this trade at a higher level. So let's move this blue line over. And now you're going to see the power of the confirmation, right? Which is this white box. Let me go ahead and draw this box for you. So this is where the 4-hour RSI finally breaks the 20. We'll make it white. There we go. So you see right here, hit ones in the chat if you can see this. This is the RSI. This indicator down here is called the Relative Strength Index Stochastic. Jeffrey, what up? So what this basically is showing you is that the stochastic is there's a 0 line, a 20 line, an 80 line, and 100, okay? We need this line to break above the 20, right? The blue line needs to break above the 20. So you see it right here, how it broke above the green line, right? So that's finally when we get a trigger point of that we would be buying in this situation. So now we put this up here. Now this zone here, this white box up here is where the candles are. This is our buying zone, okay? This is where we get ready to buy because now we have this volume actually breaking above and creating buying value. Now, the thing about this is it even goes into the daily, and if you guys were, as you start to learn this simple system here, you'd realize that even though you're watching all these people explain World War III to you and all this stuff, you'd be recognizing that at this current time, we're sitting in a upward volume area, which is where Bitcoin actually should actually run here. So we're probably going to see a 110 Bitcoin here in the next week or two, probably in the next week. But for us, the main purpose here is we can see that the RSI breaks the 20 line. So in this area here, which is the creation of the 4-hour RSI breaking through, that creates this box up here. So now we have a buy zone, right? So you see this? Look how beautiful that buy zone is. Look at that. This is the buy zone right here. Look at this. And in this buy zone, if you're buying in this zone, so if you're trading in this zone, right, you're going to get better results and positive trades because you are actually trading inside of an area that is meant to be traded in for a positive, right, for a long. Now, I'm not a big long trader. I like shorting everything because shorts are a lot more profitable than longs. But when you do a long, you want to be in a situation that, you know, you're kind of like, let's see this here, copy this. You want to be in a situation where you're trading with the best possible, right? So right here, this section here is our best possible long trade. And then you can see where we have that. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to the time frame of 15 minutes because that's where we focus on the trade or the entries. And now we can see this white box. See this white box here? So now we know that, so now we know that we can trade here inside this white box. And this is going to give us our best long trades, right? So we don't have to, so in here, from here to here currently, this is the best trading along, right? So this came up, this alert would have happened on Sunday the 22nd. So if you were following the system, right? Remember, the system is a you can follow everything that we're doing here. Everything that we're using here and currently doing is free indicators on TradingView. So this is this is the RSI, Relative Strength Indexed Trading, right? That's it. So what we're teaching you here is the number one thing you need to learn in trading, which is you trade with volume. Volume is king. So the number one thing here is to trade with or with the volume, right? The price action. If it's going up, you trade up. If it's going down, you trade down. That's it. So in this particular time here, you can see that there was a buy signal that was offered here. This buy signal went off at 99,900, right? We're gonna keep that there, 99,900. And then the thing about that is the what we call the entry, right? We got a buy signal. It's not in the 4-hour. So what we expect to do is we expect the trade to go up from this position. We are looking for a sell signal, which you can see we got here. That sell signal comes in, right? And what we're looking from that sell signal is to retouch the original buy order at 99,900, which you can see it does right at this wick right here. See that?
Yes.
So this trade executed itself perfectly. There's a buy signal at this price. We then see the sell signal come in, and then we see the trade come back down and actually tap the same 99,000. So a couple different ways that you can find this particular buy in at 99,000, right? Let's say that you get your buy signal here. That's the original buy, and then you can put yourself a parallel channel, right? Which is go to the top here, trend line, parallel.
I can't even see the screen on the side, coach.
Oh yeah. So you go over here. They're going to be on your trend lines. At the bottom of your trend line, there's a parallel channel. So this just swaps the trend line to a parallel channel. Scroll down right here, click it. Okay. Now, what will happen is you'd be in a situation where you got a buy signal, right? So you would take this channel here, and this is the lowest point. So you would take that candle piece, the wick, and go to the body, and then you would scroll up, and you would be waiting for a top position, right, or some type of support position, which looks like at this point it went sideways right about here, right? So you see how it goes sideways, breaks above. So then once it breaks above there, the normal process is to break above, find support on the top of that, and then explode to the upside for a trade, right? This one here touches it, goes up, and then it does a fake out, which then comes back down to its original entry right here. So that's the parallel channel that you'd be looking at, and then you'd be saying, okay, I'm going to take my entry off the middle, off of this this middle zone here. So if it's pushing up at this time, and once I find that it has some type of resistance, which you can see in these 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 candles, so this is 3 hours of resistance right in this area here. That basically lets you know that there's resistance there, and that's where you would put your channel and say, okay, that's the top of the channel. And then you would look at the middle and say, okay, the buy signal came in around 99. The support for that buy signal is sitting at 99. So that's where I'm going to put my buy, is somewhere in between there, or even somewhere in between the top of the purple and in the middle. So maybe even to be safer, you'd be sitting at 100,500, right? So that would be your two buy options, right? If you're real greedy, you put it down here and say, you know what? If it gets it, that's even better. If it doesn't, I don't really care. I'll come back on the next trade. Or you go halfway and say, you know what? This is starting to build momentum, which probably in this case, because it did bounce off the support and it bounced a little bit, you would be thinking more of the middle ground of 105, 100,500 right there. You'd be sitting there. So that would be the perfect entry for you right there. And let's measure this out. So from that area there, down is a 0.80, right? You see the percentages. So what that means is if you're doing, let's say, a 50x leverage, right, 1% would be 50. If you're doing 75, 1% would be there. So half of that, a half a percent would be sitting at um, 30, 40. So let's say 40%. So this stop loss, and this is where you have to start calculating a little bit, is when you put yourself in these positions, you have to say to yourself, okay, if I put my entry position at this higher level, which would be somewhere around here, right? You have to calculate, if it does go back down to this support area, will the stop loss actually, put you in a good position here, right? And you have to calculate. So normally if you're working on a 75x, a half a percent is going to be 35% in there. So about 37. So this is a 37% pullback, right? And sometimes you're going to get wicked out. This is okay. You're going to get wicked out here. But this is what you want to start measuring and say, okay, is there a half a percent to the next leverage? So then you might say to yourself, you know what? I want to stay about a half a percent. And then what you would do is you would actually move your entry price to that half a percent area, which would be where you want to sit. All right. So now you're saying, okay, I want to sit at this. This is my entry here. This will give me a 50% move to the next support zone, a half a percent move, right? So this is where leverage becomes a very important thing when you're learning how to trade, is that learning the leverage on where you should be, right? So if you did a 50x leverage here on Bitcoin, right, that means this half a percent move is only at 25%. So you might say to yourself, you know what, to increase my odds here, I'm going to move my leverage down to a 70, from 75% long leverage to 50, right? And when you first starting with the 50% leverage is the best way to go. So that way you can start recording how you're doing. Because the very first thing you got to learn is how to get your entries right. So this would be where, so for you, Silva,
I think that's been my problem, getting the entries correct.
Yeah. So for you, you can start your longs at 50x leverage and then do your shorts, because shorts are a little more aggressive on the way down. So you can keep those at like 75. And then if you
75.
yeah, so keep your longs at 50, shorts at 75. And then from wherever you want to do your entry point, which would represent this blue line, you would just calculate a half a percent move, right? And this right here is just you go below the 1, 2, 3, 4 down from the peaks. This is called a long position, and this you just measure out, from the yellow line in the middle of the red and green, and then you just use that top piece to measure out where you want to be. So you can pre-program it to a half a percent, and then put that where you're going to think the lowest support is, and then you're going to then mark off the top and say, okay, so if this is the lowest support, the highest I want to be is a half a percent. So which means my entry price is going to be 103,000. Be right here, 103,000, 103,400, somewhere around there. So something like at that line, 104,000, 100,400. And that's your new entry point right there. And that gives you a half a percent to the next support line, which means if you're doing a 50x, that's only at 25%. And if it does wick out like it did, that would only get to 30. So you'd be sitting at, here your stop losses, you'd be sitting at about 35% to start off. So for you, you should be running 50% long, 35%, or even, at this point, you're starting low anyway, so do 50% long, 40% stop loss. And then on your shorts, 75%, 40. And then once we start tracking it, we can start adjusting. So this is the two ways that you can kind of see how this plays out into your entries. Obviously, the best entry would be to super greedy and just go for that lower that lower entry that we had earlier and just say, you know what, if it bounces back. And this is where understanding that, you know, being greedy on your entries is, you know, the where you want to be greedy, right? So let's clear all this up and go through a simple, you know, a walkthrough that makes sense as far as um, what we when we're buying or what we're selling, right? So first things first, we get a buy signal here. We don't have a 4-hour buy until this white box. Once we enter this white box and it becomes an entry point for the long position, right? We're always going to want to see a pullback, right? Which happens here. We get a little bit of a sell, 15-minute sell. That's the first pullback. It pulls back to the support line and then it jumps, right? Which is this move here. Now the thing about this move here is that this is normally going to keep running, but for some reason, this is where trading gets a little more trickier nowadays, is because right in this area here, the retail investors panicked and they sold right there on that bounce, which is they were going the wrong direction, meaning they thought the coin was going to go short, right? And this is why, you know, most of you guys lose money, is because you don't understand how to trade with the volume. And instead of going short, you know, it did drop a little bit, but then it turned right back around and ended up being this massive long, right? And the reason what happened there is the investors blew the trade. They panicked and sold here on this bounce, and then it ran on them, right? And that's because you're not trading with your value, right? You're trading against we're in a pocket here. This is a long pocket. There's no reason for this extra dip here except for really shitty traders. And that's what happened. But in these scenarios, right, this is when you have a system, right, and listen to what I'm saying, guys. When you have a system and a structure that you know is going to produce 90% of the time or 80%, you know that I don't have to see this big pullback here where it goes like this and say to myself, dang, I made a bad trade. I know that I'm trading in the right direction. It's just that retail investors are terrible at trading. And that was one moment there that they outsold the buyers. But it's okay, because if I know that I'm in the right direction, I would just rebuy on the next buy. So you see this little buy signal here? I would just rebuy that, right? Because I'm confident that I'm correctly trading here, right? So the first trade is this buy signal here. Then I need a bounce, which is this sell signal, and then I need this buy here. Now it also showed support on the support of the resistance right here. Used to be resistance, now it came support, and some reason, some terrible trader sold, panicked right there for some damn reason, World War III. And all that would happen there, even if I get boxed out here and I get stop lossed out here, it'd be really close because my entries are down here anyways. But this would have been really, really close. So let's say that hits my stop loss and I get stopped, right? All that would mean is I would get a notification, and then once this went back into a buy signal off this signal here, then my buy signal would have came off of this candle, which is right about, let's see, here. So I would have bought here on my long anyway. So this new long here would have gave me a 3% return. Now remember, I'm doing a 50x leverage, so I lost 40%. So let's say Silva is doing his trading as a student. His stop loss goes off at 40%. He looks and goes, okay, let me see. I got a buy. I got the momentum box, the 4-hour buy. Here's the pullback, and then I entered off the support. That was brilliant. Or he had a limit order here on this blue line, which entered here, but then he sees there's a wick here, and he realizes that for some reason there was an extra fall there. Somebody had a sell zone, or somebody panicked, and he got wicked out there. He would then say, okay, I got my buy, I got my momentum buy, I got my pullback, I got my re-entry buy, which is where I want to buy. It then pushed up and came all the way back to my order limit buy, which is perfect, but some reason I got this shitty ass wick. Now I got another, I mean, it happens. So I got my sell signal that came in because people panic sold, but I know that I'm in a 4-hour RSI long, and I know that that's normally going to push higher. So now that I see that, and I realize that that went to shit, I recalculate and say, okay, where's the next buy signal? And it's right here. And it's on this big candle. So as soon as that candle pulls back, okay, and this is kind of where the rule of thumb of this is the how do I enter, right? So guys, write this down, guys. All right, pay attention, right? So this is important. This is a tip and a trick that you have never heard from any other influencer or trader in your life. Okay? And I'm going to tell you the secret right now. Okay? When you're doing a candle, this happens to be a 15-minute candle. You see the 15-minute time frame? You do not enter a candle until it's 3 minutes before the next candle. Right? And if it's a lower candle of a 5-minute, then it's 1 minute before the next candle. What that means is when you get a buy signal and it's on this candle is going to add another candle every 15 minutes because that's our time frame. So 7 o'clock, 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, every 15 minutes there will be another candle. 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:30. So when you see the buy signal come in here on this candle, or you're just wanting to buy on the next candle, you do not buy randomly during this 15 minutes. You would buy 3 minutes before the next candle. So if you're doing a 15-minute candle and it's 8:15, you will buy on the next candle, which is 8:30, but 3 minutes before, which would be 8:27. If it's 8 o'clock, you would buy the 8:15 candle, but you would buy it at 8:12, 3 minutes before the next candle. So if that makes sense, guys, hit the ones and hit the hearts. Hit the ones in the chat, ones and hit the hearts so you can understand. If you're buying a 5-minute candle, you instead of buying at 8:05, you buy at 8:04. Okay, 1 minute before the new candle. So just basically buy right before the next candle, guys. Buy right before the next candle, because that next candle is going to either pump if you're correct or go down if you're correct, right? But that's what it's going to do. It's going to make its biggest move after that moment there, okay? So now, this knowing that he got into a good trade here and knowing that he's buying in the right system, even though this went down when it shouldn't have and it got him out of there, he knows that on his next buy signal that he would be buying on this next candle right here, because he knows that he's supposed to be buying in this white box, okay? So even though he lost 40% on this unfortunate short, because you're going to lose some trades, he's about to make a 3% move here, which is worth, at its 50x, this is worth 150. This is almost a 200% trade. So even though he lost 40 on that first one, he would make that 40 back here and his 50% gain. So even if he only took back 100% here, 60 and 40, right? Say he doesn't go all the way up. At this situation here, he would already make his money back and win his 50% gain. Okay?
Yes.
So this is the power of understanding that, you know, when you're in a trade or you're in a box, right? The blue box is the confirmation of possible trades coming. The white box is the 4-hour RSI saying that the volume is now moving in a certain direction, and this direction is up, right? So all the trades that you're doing in this particular box here should be towards the momentum side, which is currently up, right? So all the trades here should be trading in a way that is upwards, right? Because that is the momentum of this trade. It is upwards, okay? Now the reason why, now we're gonna go make some adjustments on this trade here. Is the reason why is, you know, we should be trading upwards, and actually we're in a long here, so let me close out. That's that trade we set up earlier. So the reason why we're trading these trades, and I'm gonna set up a long here, is because right now, currently, Bitcoin is in a position of long, right? And which means that all our trades should be going in the upward direction, okay? So now that we have that set up, there's a trade here that he could have got, and then his next trade would have been to wait for a sell signal pullback, which he got here. There's another sell. And then once that leveled out, which is in this zone here, see how it goes sideways?
Yes.
Basically, you could take that sideways position right here on this 15-minute sell. You can create another parallel channel. Roll your chart open a little. You see the sell, and then all you're going to do is it starts to accumulate, right? Is you put yourself another parallel channel to the top of those candles, and then the simplest thing in the world here would be once this starts to create all these lows and highs, is that you would be putting your buy on this lower level here, right? And the reason why you can do that is because you know, right, and this is how easy this shit is, you know that currently in this position you are trading in an upward position, right? So right now you know that in this particular white box that Bitcoin is trading to the upside. So once you see a sell signal and it creates a low right here, and then it creates a high, and now you have a channel from the top to the bottom of this purple, you can put an entry at the bottom of that purple at 104.798 as an entry, because you know that down the road eventually it's going to break above the resistance, and then see how this one broke above and then retested and then broke out, came back and retested again the top. Like it tested this purple line twice before it's where it's at right now, right? So now you know you can even measure this purple box, and you can say, okay, what's the bottom of this box to the top of this box, right? That's 0.5%, which means is if you're doing a 50x leverage, right, and you buy at the bottom of that box and it goes to the top, that means that 50% leverage is going to be at 0.5%, which means this is a 25% trade, right? So if we're looking to make 25% to 30%, the odds are that, you know, when it reaches this top area, if it breaks anything above it, you're going to hit 30% gains, right? This actually goes up to a 1.2%, right? So this hits a 50x buy at this lower level here, which is where you should have been buying here. This little area here, this green, right? If you bought that and you said, you know what, I'm going to put my buy here, then you would have scored 100%, a 1% move, which is a 50x leverage, which is another 50% gain. And then you would simply reset yourself up and say, okay, this trade went well, I sold here, now it comes back with a pullback, and the pullback area is going to once again reset at the support area, which it does, and now it's bouncing off that area, which means you would then put a buy signal. So once you did this first trade here, which gave you a 1% move, you would then reset up your buy on the resistance support zone of 105.346, and you would currently be in a trade here that would be worth looks like it's right now. So once again, if you had a 50x leverage here, you would be up 30% right now. So
Okay, coach. You see where it's sitting at right at the well right now at 106.
yeah,
Right now it's let's say if we had set up a trade before the 106, right? Um,
well you would have set it up on that support right there, that purple support at 105,300.
okay. Now that would be long for me.
Yeah. And now, once again, the reason why we can go long here is because we're currently in this 4-hour RSI that's pushing up. Right? Currently, we are in a long position. Right? Now, what we're going to do is let's go over to the, and this is kind of where, if you want to say, okay, well, where's Bitcoin going this week? Right? So go to the daily. Okay? We work on the 2-hour and 4-hour, right? So let's go to the daily, and then let's take a look at what the daily RSI looks like, right? So we look at the daily. You see right here, you have currently entered a zone where the daily RSI, which I'll make pink, has just crossed the 20 line. You see that?
Yes.
So right now, Bitcoin is in an area of momentum. See that right there?
Yes.
So now that it's crossed over, which happened back here about 12 hours ago, it crossed over. Now we're starting to get volume and momentum into Bitcoin, right? So now that this daily's here, this daily is going to give you a support system of longs that are going to basically, help Bitcoin stay stable and eventually push up if there's enough volume, right? And the volume pockets are going to come from the same things that we've been looking at, which are the 4 hours. You can see right here that the 4 hours at the top of the box. See it up here?
Yes.
But it hasn't headed down yet. So if we go to the 2-hour, we can see where there's weakness here, right? So here's the white box, right? This is our 4-hour RSI currently. And we can see that it's on its way up. And you can see here that the 2-hour, right, which broke back here, and re-broke at the same time that the 4-hour did. Remember, the way to short is the opposite, right? So if we're going into a short, the 2-hour has to then break below the 20 line, which is the reverse here, which would be the 80. So the 80 is red. You see that, this little red area? Now, if this 2-hour gets to a point where it breaks below this red line, then that's the beginning of the momentum starting to change into a short. So far, as we start to go across here, notice that the 2-hour has pulled back, pushed back up, came down, didn't touch the 80, but it reversed to the other side. So you see how now right here it starts to go up here?
Yes.
So if you're watching this and you're paying attention to your 2-hour, this particular section right here that it moved, which would be right here, I'll put this here and I'll make this blue. This is where the 2-hour broke down and then started to go upwards right here, which means this particular line here, this would have been a box of definitely taking a long position, because right when this happened, let me make this a box here. That's just telling you, so when you see that, right, you see the 2-hour go down and then it doesn't break the 80, but then it starts to move forward, right? That should tell you that the momentum is picking up at that moment. And I'll show you here on the big chart. So these are little things that once you learn the 2 hour, the boxes and the patterns, you start to realize that where there's momentum, right? If you guys have any questions or anything like that, you can text me right here, 331-454-2027. So right here, this is when the 2 hour decided to go back up. You see it?
Yes.
I'll put a blue arrow right there. See? Right there?
Yeah.
So that would have told you if you're watching your 2 hour, like now you're starting to understand momentum and volume, right? So when that 2 hour came in, and you get a 15-minute buy signal on that candle, that's pretty much telling you that you're heading towards the next push of volume, right? And this is where you can start judging the how much volume it is. Is it moving? Is it weakening? It's like a storm. It's like watching a tornado or a storm come in, right? There's only so much pressure that a storm has, right? And this is where we can evaluate this little box here and say, okay, the 2 hours pushing hard here, but is it making any movement, right? Is it actually like, gaining volume here? Are we getting to the point where the storm is running out of juice, right? And it kind of looks like, Bitcoin's settling into this little channel, but it's not really like, it's not really growing as much as, you would normally see. So that's where you can look at this and go, okay, I'm taking I'm in a good position. And this is where the beautiful thing about, having this is the ideal in the system is that the whole purpose of this is that, it teaches you volume, right? And we keep covering that, but the most important thing is to understand that if there's no money or price action or volume to go up, then it doesn't matter how many patterns. It doesn't matter if there's a bull flag. It doesn't matter if there's all these things that say it's going up. Saucy, bearish on ETH currently. How do you feel on this? Let's go look at it. We'll look at it, Saucy. So what happens is once you realize that there's no money coming into Bitcoin, you have to realize the people that are holding Bitcoin are eventually going to realize that there's no more, money coming in or enough volume to move Bitcoin, that they're going to have to sell Bitcoin in order to create a lower level, or what they would consider what's called, probably down in this area here, this next support zone, back down to 101 or something, is they have to create, another area that is a buying area, right? Because there's a bunch of people that have buying orders, I guarantee, at 101, 200, right? And the whales know, and everyone knows that in order to get this money in the market, you have to bring the price back down to that area. And then from there, you can start, shorting and buying again. But right now, this is where you're learning, how to look at volume and decide whether, it's worth, holding, or if they're going to sell. And that is how we use the RSIs to determine, what's happening as far as like how they're feeling. So right now, this is a 15-minute. So basically, it gives you a little more. Maybe do a little puzzle on there. So doing here, yeah.
Let's say we set a long or instead of a 4 hour. Yeah, we set a long for a 4 hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
We set that long for the 4 hour. It's gonna be like maybe like 3.5 hours or 3 hours prior to the next candle closing on the 4 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we set that, then just sit back and chill and wait till that alert goes off. And
yeah, I mean, so if you want to, so like how to look at the time frames are, the 15-minute is going to give you, so in every 2 hours, there's 8 15-minute candles, right? And there's 16 in every four. So if you want to kind of look here and go, okay, what's the current status of what I'm looking at, right? You can go here to the 15-minute and realize you can see right here. Look how much the RSI is fighting, right? So it's pushing. This isn't hitting bottom and going to the top. This is before it gets to 20, it bounced. Before it gets to 100, it went the other way. Now it went down halfway and it bounced, and then it finally came all the way down. So you can see right here that there's a big struggle right here to move Bitcoin off of this price area, right? 105,600, 105, 106,000. You can see here that the momentum is picking up again here on the 15-minute, and they're starting to, try to push up. There's just not a lot of money here, right? And eventually, if this continues to fight and go back and forth, then people are going to realize that there's no more money to go long, and they're going to sell because they've already made their 30-40% up, right? There's no need to be greedy. You got to take what you got to take, and then you're going to move into the other side. So as we start to see these movements here, we can see that eventually right now, volume wise, we are in a position where it's a very it looks like it's starting to lose momentum here, right? Our 4 hour has been our 4 hour box has been at the top of the box for almost a day here. So let's go back to the 4 hour. You can see the 4 hour RSI is literally pinned to the top of the 100 channel. You see it up there? Like it's up there. It's been up there for Monday, so all day yesterday and today. So that's a long time, right? So eventually it needs to relieve that pressure. Now, the good thing for Bitcoin is on the daily is showing that the momentum overall in the Bitcoin market is starting to push up. But that's a 7-day trade. That could be a 14-day trade, right? So this is where understanding your volume and what you're trading, right? So right now, look at the 2 hours starting to, come down. So this is just letting us know that this 105, 800 area. Yeah, this 108 area right here, 105, 800 is probably going to eventually crack and then come back down because there's no momentum here. This 2 hour has to come down to reset. The 4 hour has to come down to reset. And then on the next 4 hour move up, which is the system that we're trading, it will be even stronger because now you have the daily moving up. You see what I'm saying? So every time you add a longer or an older time frame, it becomes stronger. So Bitcoin's building momentum here. It's just going to take, going to be some days here. You get the 4 hour needs to reset. But that's why when you're trading the system, you just let the system reset. You never know how long the system's going to take to reset, but that's where you're at right now, right? So right now we're just at the point where Bitcoin is at an exhausted point of money, right? 2 hours been at the top, 4 hours been there for 24 hours. It's just kind of an exhausting zone. So it's probably going to stay pretty level around this $106,000 because there's no money coming in enough to move it, and it just kind of like sits there. And eventually it has to reset. Once it resets, then we take advantage of another long. All right, so let's take a look at like how Ethereum's looking, right? So those are two different types of, coins to look at. So we can do the quick thing, the same thing here, right? So here goes Ethereum. First thing we're going to do is let's take a look at our 2 hour, right? So you can see right here we have a 2 hour box. I'm just going to box this out real quick. Easiest way to do it, I'm going to look at my 2 hour RSI, which is down here. You can see when it breaks to 20, which happens right here. This is my blue box, and then that goes all the way to, actually broke 80 right here. So the blue box is finally coming to where it's breaking. I'm going to join my 4 hour box, and I'm going to draw that out real quick, which is basically the 4 hour breaking across the 20, which would be right here. and then it hasn't broke the 80 yet, and that's going to be our white box. So same scenario, these are our boxes here. Blue box lets us know there's a trade coming, and the 2 hour, the 4 hour lets us know that we're in a good scenario where we want to make our trades, and that's where we would extend ourselves in that upward position there. Okay, so now let's jump over here, take a look at the 15-minute, and we can see how that worked out. So same indicators, same system, same structure. So here's your 2 hour, right? Now notice here, because Bitcoin is a $100,000 coin and Ethereum is a $2,500 coin, the indicators are going to be a little more sharper on this coin because the amounts of monies are, you know, it's working at a smaller percent. So only a 2,000 versus 100,000. So here, same system. You get a 2 hour right here telling you that it's okay to buy. Here is your buy signal from your 15-minute buy. What do? We wait for a sell signal to basically come in, which happens here, and then that's where we'd be setting up our purchase price. So same thing, go over here, get yourself a parallel channel. You get a buy signal on this candle here. Okay, and all you're going to do is mark across on that buy signal, and once that goes up, you have a support area, which ends up being in this zone right here, and that's your buy signal. This is your candles kind of growing right here, and then that kind of gives you a parallel channel, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller here. That gives us a parallel channel right in this little zone here, top of the candle, and then it breaks above it, and then from that break we'd look for the pullback, and notice that here, I mean, I think the most important thing for you guys to realize is that when we have this buy signal here at Ethereum at about 2200, right, and then once it creates its channel, right, and we get more data, and we have this higher channel, and then you can see right here that it comes off the top, it stays on the middle channel, it pushes the top again, comes back down to the middle, then it pushes through the top, and we get a sell signal. We push through the top, and then the pullback is the bottom of the channel, which is the original where we started with the buy signal at about 2200, right? So if you set your limit order, if you would have set it at 2200, it would have came back and connected again on that level. So this is where learning to be patient, right? You don't have, if you miss a trade, right, that doesn't mean you lost the trade, right? So let's say that this doesn't pull back to 2200. It only pulls back to the middle ground of about 2230, right? And this is where, you know, understanding the how to measure the percentages, right? So let's say that you put it at the higher level, you know, you would have got stop loss, and then you had been buying, you know, down here. So this is what I'm talking about. It's like when you get greedy on the entry and you figure out this lower level here, right, is the area to buy, then you're putting yourself in a position where, you know, you're getting in at the best prices, right? And this just comes from, you know, a buy signal. Here's a buy signal. It's on this candle here, right? And I'll move this box a little bit. This candle pulls back to this level right here, and then it enters a new candle, right? So the lowest level that this let's see, this candle hits is about 2200 right here before it pops up, right? So on this buy signal, if you got this candle, this is what I'm talking about. If you would have bought this candle 3 minutes before this next candle, you'd have got in at about $2,200, right? Which would have been the right price because that is the bottom of the channel. And as we go across the bottom of the channel, we set a limit buy at the same 2200, which eventually, after everything runs its course, it comes back and touches that 2200, right? And that's how you get perfect entries, right? Let's say it doesn't come back, you don't get this trade. It's all right. Then you just don't have that particular trade. I mean, that's what happens sometimes. And then what you would be looking at is if this trade hits off of here and it doesn't come all the way down and it starts running, right? You have this, pullback, you have a buy, you have a sell, you have a buy, and then you have this next sell that comes in right here, which creates this huge pullback. Then you would simply be buying on that next buy signal, which would be right here. This one right here. So those are the steps. So first you have your buy, you have your blue box. You're waiting for the white box. Once the white box comes into play, which is here, then on the next pullback, which is this sell signal here, is where you would be looking to set your orders, right? Meaning that you have a buy signal, white box. You have the support zone here of about $2,200. This means that the white box means it's a good time to set that buy. You put that limit order at 2200. You come across, you get your sell signal, which should have been a pullback. You get your next buy signal, letting you know that it's now currently time to be looking to get on this entry. You have your limit order already set. It runs its course. Let's say that it reaches here. Let's say it doesn't go all the way back down, and it runs up from this point here. You then get another sell signal, which is this one, and all that means is on the next buy signal, which is this one, you get more aggressive, and when this buy signal comes in, that's where you would pick the next candle and you would be buying in this zone here. So buy signal, candle, purchase here. So you'd be getting in at 2300. The reason why you're aggressive on this second entry is because the first entry is a limit order based off support and resistance. Now that the momentum is building and the white boxes tells you that you're in a go situation, when you see a big pullback or a sell signal that doesn't hold that position, that is a entry point for you to get into, because now you see the momentum is now in a position where the odds of it pushing up are 3 times better than before. This is why you can get aggressive here and take this next entry, because you've already had a buy on the 2 hour, a reset on inside the white box, a buy on the reset, a bigger reset on the sell, meaning that this next push is a momentum push. And that's it. I mean, that's what we're doing. I mean, that's how easy the trades are when you go here. So these trades all ended up being shit. I mean, this is where, trading Ethereum, over Bitcoin is a little nicer, because you do get higher gains. Here's a 5% gain. So let's say that you're trading this and it's only a 30x, right? Which gives you more leverage, more stop loss open. Meaning you can go an entire percent one direction, use a 30x on Ethereum. But this is 30 times. So this is a 150% move right here. So now the question is, what are we looking at Ethereum? Does it look like we're going down? Well,
That's pretty good right there.
yeah, it's a good move. So now you can see that you have a sell. Here's another entry, and these are just basically, once this win goes through, there's a sell, and then the next push up. On this next push up, because this is the second leg. So here's your big leg, your pullback, and then your final leg, right? So this is actually where we would be looking in this area here and say, okay, we're looking for this to actually, reset and go back down to create some type of buying opportunity, right? Which is kind of where we're at right now. Is you see how this comes down, it bounces, and then it hits this level here.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the entry right there. About 24.50 would be your short, which is where we're sitting at right now. Now to confirm like our direction, right? We would simply go down to our 2 hour, and you can see here, you see right here on the 2 hour. So who was asking for the Bitcoin short? Who was talking about that? Saucy. Yeah, greed has been my biggest downfall. Yeah, you have to realize that everything that goes up has to come down because it has to create trading. So right here, you see here. So this right here is the 20 line. You see how it's breaking the 20 line right there on the 2 hour. See this arrow down here? So this means right here that we're starting to see that downside. Right, so that's the downside. Peachy, what's up, bro? Absolutely, women's banker. You're hilarious, Peachy. All right, so we're starting to break this 20 line down, or this 80 line down right here. You see that? So that means that, yeah, right now Bitcoin or Ethereum is in a momentum to the downside. Right? That's what that's coming in. That's what we're talking about. Don't forget to share the live, Peachy. Share the live. Hit the likes, bro. So right now it's starting to get weak, right? And then we can take this blue box and put it right to here, meaning that now it's starting to go the other direction, right? And now the thing is we have to slide over to our 4 hour, and our 4 hour is still at the top. So right now they're just assessing. So eventually around this price, 24.50, I would say that eventually Ethereum's going to become, it's going to have some type of pullback here on that downside. But right now it's just it's like Bitcoin, it's just going sideways. And if we go to Ethereum's daily, which is about to break the 20, you can see why these coins are starting to hold their level, is because the momentum of buyers are becoming, there's a lot of buyers that are coming into this zone. They might not be able to be, currently they're not out buying the sellers, and that's why we're going even right now. But I would say in let's see, probably in about 3 days, right? So let me mark this here. So daily uptrend 20 line, 626 break up. So we would expect this in the next 2 days to see a breakup, moving to the upside in the next couple of days for these particular coins. So right now you're just sitting in a lull, right? They're going to, you know, I'd love to. This is where shorting at this time it looks like the option here, but we can't short until the 4 hour breaks down. So that doesn't matter. So once the 4 hour breaks down, we'll be able to look for shorts here. But it does look like we're going to have some shorts on Ethereum and Bitcoin. They're just not going to be as big as we want them to be currently. That's because the momentum and the volume has picked up to a level that is supporting the uptrend. Mike and Little Benny, what's up, bro? Miss you too, big dog. So yeah, so it looks like Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to kind of level out here. I don't see them changing too much on these channels because there's momentum coming in here. So the market actually looks pretty steady here, man. So, you know, if you're a hodler or something like that, I mean, you're in a good position here. But yeah, so for us right now, let's go to our 1 hour. What we would be doing here, and you can see here that the 1 hour RSI is already at the bottom, right? With the 1 hour RSI at the bottom, that means that there's going to be momentum to the upside again. So I think right now what you're going to see is, with all this, you know, different momentums here, is that we're going to get a parallel channel somewhere in between these two things here for Ethereum. and eventually, as time goes on, um, I expect it to, probably break down a little bit to here, and then the momentum to pick up, and then break above. So,
What do you, Coach? What do you think about Solana? Would Solana be a good trade right now because of where everything is right now, or
yeah, I mean, so this is where okay, so this is where for you, when you adjust your coins and everything, right? You have to start like um, adjusting the settings here, right? So this is where, let's say that we're trading on the 15-minute, right? So let's go look at the alerts, right? So alert here, we got our pullback here, and then our new buy here. So we would add a buy signal on this second buy right here, and then that's that move we would have hit. So now we're at the top of the channel, right? You see how we're up here. So this has to have eventually, it needs to pull back at some point a little bit, and then the whole cycle has to repeat. We need the 2 hour. Let's go look at the simplicity, right? So here's the 4 hour. It's at the top, right? And you can see here the same philosophy. Like everything is the same system, right? So you see down here, the blue line breaks the 20 line right here. And when it breaks the 20 line, right, which means somewhere in here, this became the white box, right? Now, once you're at the top of that white box, you got to remember, guys, the thing is that there's only so much money that goes into crypto, okay? There's only so much money that's in the market cap. So once that market cap is kind of filled, then the coins can't go up any further unless, Solana can't go up unless somebody sells a bunch of Bitcoin and buys Solana, right? Or the people that made money in this white box, right? This is a percent move here that is about 10%, right? Whales, once they make 10%, they're 10xing. That's 100% gains. So in this area here, eventually it has to find a way to, come back down to a support system that was a little bit lower, and then from there they create a bounce and start to move up. Now, we just happen to be in the volume is picking up for this entire market, right? So we could go sideways for a little bit here, and then eventually see another push, right? So this is where, if you go to Coin Market Cap, right, and Coin Market Cap has the total value of the market, right? So right now we're sitting at a market cap at 3.26 trillion. Now, in an hour, if that's 3.2, then the short's coming because the market cap's starting to change, right? But currently, I mean, that's a pretty good market cap. And just the kind of guys so you can understand market cap and, what it means is Bitcoin was at 69,000 when the market cap was 2.7 trillion. So a 0.5 trillion means that Bitcoin can go up $40,000. So that means if you see the market cap getting above 3.3, 3.4, if it can get to 3.7 trillion, then Bitcoin can get to 130,000. But right now, it's good to have the market caps that you look into, because if this market cap goes to 3.27, then you can look at your daily again, like we looked at the daily. I'm telling you that the market is prime right now to run. Like it looks like it's going to go up. So right now, during this period of consolidation, the 2 hour and the 4 hour RSIs are resetting. Doesn't mean that the price is going to go down. It just means that the buying and the selling have come to a standstill. So the price could stay the same, and then once everyone sees that the price is maintaining and momentum starts to come back in, I mean, all these coins can keep jumping. I mean, we're just at that moment here where the current market cap 3.2 trillion, and if we look at it, and I'll go ahead and put this market right here, call out, right? And we'll pop it in here. 3.26 trillion market cap. And this is what? 6:24, 6 p.m. Right? Like if that market cap keeps going up, then you can see that we're going to consolidate it and run. It's a pretty big market cap. But right now everything looks good, man. I mean, everything looks like it's going to hold. The thing about these pushes that happen is eventually to make more money, the people that bought in are going to sell because they have to create another cushion of entry. Now, how much they're going to sell, we don't know, right? Until they start, pushing their momentum. But everything is, lining up for a move here. That's why I say, that's why trading inside of these boxes, once you get your trade, like so for instance, this 4-hour box, let's go to the 15-minute. Right, the 4-hour box came in right here. You had a buy, you had a pullback, and then you had another buy, right? So you should be in this trade, in this price somewhere down here. Like this should be you should have entered this trade somewhere here, right? And that's where you would be sitting, right? So this trade right here, somewhere in this zone here would have been your buy zone, somewhere here. Right? This is the particular trade that you should be in right now. And that trade is worth minimum of, shit, the thing did 7%. A little bit more, did 8%. So this trade here was an 8% trade, and you're saying you do 40x. I mean, this is almost 360% gains. It's pretty good. But right now, the boxes are filled up. We've done all we had to do. We need for this to reset, meaning that we need the 4-hour to go back to the bottom. We need it to break the 20 on the way up, and that'll create a long. Now, if you're doing a short, then you need it to break the 80 on the way down, and then you need to ride the momentum down. But currently, it is in a upward. Right now it's in a long position. So. And that's the key to the boxes, right? The key to learning momentum and volume is you can't lose money if you're trading with the money, and you can't lose money if you're shorting when they're selling. So if you're buying when you're supposed to buy, you'll be successful. If you're selling when you're supposed to sell, you'll be successful, right? You have to start learning that in order to be a good trader or an investor, it doesn't matter what you're doing, is you have to know what the market's actually really doing. And if you just follow the masses or what you're supposed to do, then you'll be successful, right? And the success comes from volume. Volume is king. Volume dictates everything that we see and everything that we do inside the market, right? So that's the key, guys. So if you're out there, man, you want to be you want to get some one-on-ones. If you want to learn, to get the process here, is just the basics. So Silva, how you see the difference in? I know when you first started last week or so, you wanted to do just Bitcoin, but now you see how it's.
I don't want to do just Bitcoin now.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I mean. You have to pick, understanding the system, and then applying the same system to the 3 top coins, which are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And then once you do that, because those are 3 different ecosystems, right? Bitcoin is the master ecosystem. Ethereum is the beginning of the cross system, and Solana is meme coins, right? So now you're dealing with institutional money in Ethereum, bank money inside of Ethereum, or institutional money inside of Bitcoin, and the opposite is institutional money inside Ethereum, the opposite network of Bitcoin, and then retail investors, which is Solana. So these are the 3 coins that you apply the same technique. Okay, the same style. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Thanks, man. Mike and Lil Benny. So once you apply the same system to each coin, you can see where you can be profitable, and then you'll be able to see the patterns that make more sense to you. That you're like, oh, you know what? That pullback worked perfectly here, because it's the same thing that we're doing. Here's the white box. There's a buy signal, right? We wait for the pullback, which is the sell signal. We then get ready for that pullback. We look for a channel, right? Which is on this, the channel would have been set up pretty simply here. You get a buy signal right here. You go to your channel. There's your buy, the bottom of that channel, and then you see where it goes to the top, which is here. Then you get a sell signal, and you put your buy at the bottom of that channel, which would have been right here at $131 for Solana, the bottom of this purple. You can see it hits it perfectly at 131, and then boom, you're off and running. And that is exactly how you do the trade, and it worked perfectly on Solana, which would have grossed you a 10% move at a 40x. That's 400%. So if you had $1,000, you just made $4,000.
I gotta float around and not just be focused on BTC, but I like Solana, but I just, oh God. I gotta, yeah, man.
Well, we gotta, so like, that's what I'm, so for you, it's just like, you know, the 2-hour box and the 4-hour box, right? And then watching the buy come in, set the channel up, look for the sell, make sure the channel's set up, and set your limit buy at the bottom of that channel, and then let it play out. And you can do that, and there's no reason why you can't do a $50 trade on Bitcoin, $50 trade on Ethereum, and the $50 on Solana, because they're all going to be operating in the same directions at that time. They're just different levels. And then as you see them happen, you can see where, you know, yeah, so Lil Benny, Mike and Bill Benny, yeah. So we upgraded the indicators, guys. Like what we do is like every year as we continue to go forward, we have to adjust the indicators to the market, because the more volume and the more price action that changes the market cap, the indicators have to be upgraded so that they stay, you know, in tune with that. So if you guys are looking for the indicators, go to your trading view. There they are. Take a screenshot right there. VC, making trading easy, MTE, moon volume tracker, price action tracker 1 and 2. Those are the ones you need right there. Those are all updated with the new price action. All right, but this is the most things you guys want to learn here is how we're setting up a trade, right? So lesson 1, guys, if you want to make money, then the very first thing you do is you need to learn how to set up a trade. That's it. Learn to set up a trade. If you guys are getting, I mean, this is all week, I've shown you a channel, and then at the bottom of that channel was the lowest entry price. And all week, we have hit that entry price every fucking time. Every time. So you're not, I mean, so far we haven't missed a trade. It's okay to miss a trade by being greedy on the entry, right? It's okay because we can catch the second trade, right? The whole thing is to teach you guys that, you know, when you see a coin jumping or bouncing, you are not out of this, right? Because most of retail investors would see a trade that's going long, right? So let's say you see Solana, you see this bottom, then it bottoms, and then you're like, oh, here it is, it's starting to go. And then you see it start to go up, and then you would buy somewhere in this zone here, or you would buy somewhere over here, and then there'd be this big dip, and then you get wicked out, you get canceled out, and then you're like, damn, and then all of a sudden it jumps on you and does this move here, and you go, man, I knew it was going up, I just don't know how to get in, right? You need to understand you have to play that to get the in. So if that makes, so it became the number 1 thing. Thank you for the fan. So if that's what you have to learn, right? Is you got to be patient to let the coin come to you. You're not missing trades, okay? And I'm trying to, this is the easiest way to like, kind of like so you guys can understand the money. I think what happens is you don't understand your goal, right? So let me show you a simple calculator here. So if give me a number, right? So how much do you guys want to make a week? If you're trading crypto, how much is the average? What do you want to make a week?
3,000.
All right, 3,000. What about TikTok? TikTok, how much are you trying to make a week? 1K, 2,500. All right, so everyone's sitting at a solid 1,000, 2,500, 3,000, right? 4,500. So we'll take the middle, 2K. 2K sounds good. So we'll take the middle ground. We'll do 3,000, right? Now to make 3,000, you have to say to yourself, okay, how many trades do I do a week, right? How many trades? And you say, okay, what if I'm doing one trade a day? That's about 7 trades. And then you say, okay, there's two days that I'm not trading. So we'll say there's 5 days, right? So in those 5 days, you're going to make 5 trades, right? So we're going to divide this by 5. That means that you need to make a $600 profit 5 times a week, right? So we take our $3,000, we divide that by 5 trades. Every trade needs to make $600. So how do we make $600? Well, that means if on average you're making 30% per trade, that means you have to have a $2,000 trade that makes 30%, which would be equivalent to $600. Okay? So the first thing you have to do here is say, okay, I need to be able to trade $2,000 per trade. I need to make 30 to 50% per trade. Okay? So now that we know that's how you make $3,000 a week. 5 trades that make $600, which is only 30% of 2,000. Okay? Which simply means that every time we do a trade, any of the trades that we do, they have to make an average of 30 to 35% per trade. Okay, so the Solana trade that we were doing, we can do a 30x leverage on there. We have a 8% or 10% move. That's 300%. All right, we only needed 30. So if you had a $2,000 trade over here on this one trade, and you did your leverage on there, this would actually have took you to 2,000 to 8,000, or possibly you would have closed at 6,000. So you would have made $6,000 off this one trade here, which is Monday. This is just one day, right? So the goal is to say, okay, for everyone to make what they're trying to make, they're going to need to be in a position where they're trading $2,000, making 30% per trade, and you need to do 5 trades a week, right? Meaning letting setups happen, letting it come together. So it's a very, very doable situation right now, because you're in a position where you can actually let's go over to Solana. But you can do that right now because that's something that's a very simple process. So your goal is to get to a situation where, and I want to see what Solana's limits are. Oh yeah, Solana does 80 to 100%. This is plenty.
Solana's good then, right?
Yeah, this is plenty.
Solana's hidden.
Yeah, you can easily do it. You can have a solid 40% leverage on Solana, and yeah, you can go up to 40%. 40% is easy. That would have been the 10x. That would have been 400. It even goes. I mean, if you're really pushing Solana around, it has 100% entry on there as well. So
100% entry.
I mean, well, 100% leverage, which is crazy, but yeah, you don't need that much leverage. So Solana, I would probably be working in the 30s and 40s, because every trade that we do is about 5, like a 5% move. So that would be 150% on a 30x leverage.
Oh, 150%.
because that means that the average move for Solana is about 5%. So 5 times 30 is 150%. So it gives you good odds on your trades, and it's it's a little bit easier. So now that this trade, so where we're at now on this trade is the first trade hit us here for 10%. Then we get the sell signal, which is this pullback, and you can see here that it didn't really here's another parallel channel. And these are the same, just you're walking through the same thing, right? So you get a sell signal here, which is this one, and then you get a buy signal that comes in and it shows a top here. And then all you're really doing there at that point is once you get your sell, you can see that you have a channel here that's at the top, and you have a lower channel here, and you get the sell signal for the retest, which pulls you down to the bottom channel. It bounces to the top, so your re-entry would have been at that bottom channel again, $142, and then boom, that's the next that happened to be the next buy. You can see the buy come in, and then from the buy you would have just, even though it's a buy signal, you'd be buying the pullback, which is the 142 right here, 143, and yeah, it's 143. So you'd have hit that again, and then you'd currently be moving back up this channel here. So, and let's just kind of measure that out. So just kind of, you understand what I'm saying, is that the top and bottom of this channel is 2.8. So if you're doing a 30x leverage, you're up 60% right now. Remember, you only need 30.
Coach, I should have been doing. I should have been on Solana.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to, that's what I'm saying is, the whole point of doing a trading, course and taking a trading lessons is that you have to, first thing you have to do is find a system that makes money, right? Which we have. We have the 2-hour and the 4-hour buying zones. Once we have that, we have the 15-minute buy signal, reset signal, and then entry signal. Once we have that, now you take that system and you move it and apply it to the 3 top coins, which are going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And then once you see what makes sense to you, and you're like, oh, okay, this works every time over here, that gives you the confidence to feel like you can put the price at the right thing, put your entry at the right price, and then you can start, this is your first week, so now you can turn around and you can start basically applying, what you've learned in the videos that you can go back and watch for the last week. Now you can start applying the simple entry system, right? Once you learn how to enter the coin properly and find a parallel channel and then set your price to the right price and then let it play out, and you see that it does hit 8 out of 10 times, you build confidence that you can be greedy and wait for a better entry. You can't lose money if you enter at the lowest price, right? You only lose money when you buy the top and it goes down, right? You need to learn to buy the bottom. That's the whole point. And this system that we're teaching right here is showing everyone how to buy a bottom price so that they're always at the bottom of the channel, and they're, no matter what happens, they have a better chance of winning, right? So it's just increasing the average of being successful. That's all it is. Now, when you start using the indicators, what is the indicator at the top of your RSI? Okay, so this indicator here, this is going to be this indicator here that says VC Moon Volume Tracker right here. VC Moon Tracker, right? So the Moon Tracker, that's for understanding volume, right? So we'll get rid of the RSI real quick. Now this is part of understanding volume, right? So you see how there's a line right here in the middle. I'll go ahead and put a white line, which separates the top and the bottom. You see that green line? When the volume is above it, this is when we're buying. When it's below it, that's when it's going below, this is the sell. So you can see currently we're above, right? So you see how this 15-minute went up and touched this parallel line, and got rejected and came down, right? This is what we talk about. Remember, we were talking about this in the other videos, that when the 15-minute RSI rejects the 10 threshold and it comes back down, when it starts to head back up, that's our buy, right? Which means that we would have been buying right at this level here of 144 for Ethereum, because now this is showing momentum in Ethereum, or I'm sorry, Solana. So this is actually showing that right now this is a good time to buy Solana, because the volume is actually breaking above the 10 threshold on the 15-minute, which normally indicates a strong strong amount of money coming into the coin. But right now, so we'll get into that. Indicator is an indicator that you start using down the road to determine, you know, are you buying correctly? So this is just a third, what we call confirmation, that price action and volume are here. What's up, Joe? This is price action, and let me invite Joe. This guy right here, if you guys don't know, Joe Buddy Jr., he is, he's got a lot of great ways to make money in digital sales as well.
Good to meet you, Joe. Welcome aboard.
Joe coming in here. So this is like, so once you, so the thing about this system, guys, is you want to just, Joe, what's up, man? You hear me? Let me turn my volume. There we go. So once you learn the basic, like I said, guys, right now what you're doing is you're learning. Thanks for the follow, brother. Focus, thanks for the follow. Guys, don't forget to follow. If you're going to follow, man, make sure you like, comment some videos, hit the like button so you can get the notifications. I lost you for a sec. Now I got you. There we go. And this way you can, Cassie, what's up, Cassie Rose? Thanks for the follow. You know, I want to invite you up here. So if you guys are, you know, who's the, we'll get some invites sent. So if you're learning crypto, new to trading, you know, do yourself a favor and learn a very simple process. And the process is money moves the coin. Volume is king. Volume is always going to be king. The volume to go up or the volume to go down. It doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter any of that. It's just going to come down to the money, right? So once you learn how to follow the money and trade with inside the money, then you will always be successful in trading. And then you just have to have a system that you can rinse and repeat and a way to get your goal. So like today, our goal was, you know, how do you make $3,000 a week? Well, if you're doing 5 trades, right, you have to do 5 trades, and those 5 trades have to make $600, and you can make $3,000 a week. So we can do 5 trades a week. It's pretty simple to do, you know, 1 or 2 trades a day, and then if there's a couple of days that is down, you know, you can do 1 trade here and there. But you can do 5 trades a week, right? You want a $2,000 trading bag, and then you need to learn how to make 30% profit on each trade. So the first thing you need to do to accomplish your goal isn't get $2,000, right? The first thing you need to do is learn how to make 30% trading. Okay? Trader Science, what's up, baby? Share the live. I appreciate you. Share the live, guys. Don't forget to share the live, man. Hit the like buttons, you know, and then we'll cover this. All these videos will be on the YouTube channel, VC Crypto Nation, as well. You can go back and watch them. And so the first thing you have to do isn't get $2,000 to trade. The first thing you need to do is, how do I make 30% on every trade? So the first thing you need is a system. Okay? So right now what we're going to do is we're going to do live trading. And if there's anybody that's interested in like starting right now and learning how to trade and want to be come on live and actually get walked through the system, indicators, trading view, if you're ready to actually start trading and start the the first week of learning, you could hit the ones in the chat. So are you at the top of your channel? So does that mean Sol is going down? So right now, so the top of this channel is a 15-minute channel, okay? Which means that right now, Sol is at the top of its current, what we call, hey, Mike, you ready to start trading, bro? So right now, where we're at with Solana is that at its current top, it's at its resistance, okay? So in order for this to go up, here's what Solana has to do. Solana needs to, and this is what most traders are going to wait for. They're going to wait for it to break above. They're going to wait for it to then come back, and they're going to put their buy orders at the top of this resistance, which will then become support, and then they want it to go up. So that's the pattern that all the people are waiting for. They're waiting for it to break above, come back and retest. That's where they're going to buy at 145, 146, and then they expect it to jump from there. Okay? So that's the pattern that most traders, investors, and everyone's waiting for right now, right? Now, what we're waiting for here is we've already got our entry point. Our entry point was the bottom, right? So we're entered here at 142. So for us, we would be, waiting for the next sell signal, which is this one. Once that sell signal comes in, right, then we would be waiting for the next buy signal after that. So we need another sell signal, which would drop the price down, hopefully down here we get a better price at probably 140, 144. And then when we got that buy signal, we would be sitting right in this area. So currently, if you're looking to buy Solana, it'd be about $143 would be your entry price, and that's what you're waiting for, somewhere down in this section here. So right now, Solana is just at its top, where if you're going to go long, you wouldn't be doing it right here. You always want to wait for a move to the top, and then you want to buy the pullback. Okay? Keep saying that in your head. I want to buy a pullback. Right? That's what you want to buy. I want to buy the pullback. All right, so what I'm going to do here is, so right now we have Silva on the phone. Silva's going through his process. It's been his first week. Right now he's got the basics down. So we walked him through setting up Trading View, setting up alerts, setting up his trading account on BitNex. So he's pretty much had this week to where he's gone through this system to where he's finding how something works for him, and now he's looking at these different coins. So the three coins that we'll look at is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And now he's starting to see how he could put himself together and say, okay, how do I, now his next thing is going to be setting trades up on those particular coins. More than likely, you're probably going to start using Solana, yeah?
Yeah, you know that, right, Coach?
Yeah. So, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it always, you have to be. Some guys love. Bitcoin's a little bit of it's a big monster. It takes a lot of money to move it. So, like, I don't normally recommend Bitcoin as a trading coin, but Ethereum is a pretty good coin to do because it's a good sized coin. Takes a little more to move up and down, but it's a little more solid because it's Ethereum. It's not like they're going to rug pull Ethereum. Solana is the next option. This option is probably a highly recommended option because it's going to move 4 to 8% per move, which means your leverage only needs to be 30 to 40%, and you're going to easily, remember every 1% is a 30. So if Ethereum moves, or if Solana moves 1%, then you've made your 30% profit. So it's a lot easier to make your money in these zones with Solana because it moves a lot more, right? So it's kind of like that's where you want to be. You want to be using a coin that makes sense to where when you buy and sell, it just has it hits the number that you want to hit. And how we can track this is we can pull back and let's go where there's a consolidation zone, which is this zone here. And these are 15-minute buy signals, right? So we can look here and go, okay, let's go through a normal transition here. So if we had a buy signal, we wait for a pullback, and then we buy the next signal, which would be about here. Now this signal here bounces, and it does a 1% move. So even without looking at out any indicators, what box I'm in, whether it's blue or white, I got a 1% move. Then I reprocess myself and say, okay, I'm going to get a sell signal. There's the buy signal, and then, or my rebalance, and then my retest. I buy again, and guess what? There's another 130%. Okay, so what this is showing me that by working the basic pattern that we normally work, which is we'd have a pullback, a buy, the next pullback, and then we'd buy in these zones here. We are making a 1% move each time, which is why it is, the system would be very successful on Solana, is because we're always making a 1% move, which means if you're using a 30x leverage, you're making 30% each time. So if you're using a 40% leverage on Solana, about 40%, then you should be hitting every single one of your trades here. And it looks like it's a good opportunity, to make, gains in the system that you're using. So this is why once you understand the system that you use, and then you apply the mathematical structure to a coin, you can tell whether or not it will be profitable or not profitable. So far, you're going to hit 8 out of 10 trades on Solana. Let's just say 7 out of 10. And the average that they're going for is 1 to 4%, which means your trade at 30x would be a 40% loss on 2 out of 10 trades, but a win would be 40, 80, 120% on 6 trades. So you are up at the end of the day 900%, losing 80. So you're basically making 7x on your money by trading Solana in this particular system. Okay, so now that all that is in there, now that we know that that makes sense and we can trade like that, then this is why you can have the confidence of trading the system properly and not, pushing the limits or the risk. This is about less risk, more reward. All right, so what we're going to do is, because the training that we do is one-on-one. Mike, Benny, you there? Mike and little Benny. So here's what we're going to do. We have in the trading spot, you still there, Benny? We're going to open the door to, and the reason why we don't do a lot of people, we just kind of like the one-on-one trading sessions. We like to keep them where we're about 3 or 4 people, because the next thing is, as we move through this next week, is putting where Silva, which is the student right here on the phone right now, pairing him up with a couple more students, and then working together to create call outs and trades that everyone's working on. So this way you have trades in there. So if you're interested in learning, taking the trading course right now, hit ones in the chat. I'm going to show you here. We're going to open the door to 3 people. And this will be for this next week and the following week, where we're teaching on live, on Discord, and then one-on-ones to get you basically set up here. So what you're going to do here, it's real simple. You're going to head over to my TikTok. And we're only going to take, like I said, guys, we got to keep it about 3 to 4 people. We can't go too much of that, because the next session is like setting up trades, doing trades, and doing call outs, etc. So if you go to my TikTok, on my TikTok, thanks for the follow, Casey. Focus, thanks for the follow. Tony, thanks for the follow. Tony. Go here, and there is a website right here. Copy this if you want, makingtradingeasy.com. You can put this in your browser, just type it in, or you can type in VC Crypto VCCryptoNation.com. VCCryptoNation.com or makingtradingeasy.com. Very simple. And that's going to take you over to the link tree. And this is also, guys, if you want to go watch the videos and rewatch the YouTube, you can go here. It's VC Crypto Nation. You can see YouTube's at the bottom here. The Gmail is VCCryptoNation@gmail. If you need TradingView's down here. Join TradingView, earn $15. TradingView's a free thing. You can get it right there. And then just slide up. If you need to get yourself set up, the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to sign up right here to the U.S. approved exchange. It's called BitNex. And there's a bunch of videos on my thing set up there. You can click that. So we're going to show you. Blowfin's terrible, bro. So Big Nate, we got rid of. So Blowfin has what's called MMRs, right? An MMR is that when there's a big wick, they wick you out. So what's happened on Blowfin, and I have a big conversation with them. I talk to all the exchanges on Telegram. They have it where, you ever notice that sometimes there's a wick, but it doesn't hit your stop loss and you kind of lose your trade? Yeah, we got to move, Mike, you got to move over. So what you guys got to do is, so it wicks you out. So let's say your stop loss is 45%, but the MMR wicks you out at 30. Yeah, it happens all the time. That's how they make their money. So that's why we stopped using Blowfin. And this is the exchange that we use right here. So if you guys want to use this one, this is very easy to go to. There's videos on my TikTok all set up, and I'll walk you through that in a sec. So if you guys want to get into trading, so Benny, Mike and little Benny, so this is how you set yourself up. So you don't have to use the Discord, Mike, little Benny. This is why we're doing it on TikTok, and we're going to do it on YouTube so that you can get your videos all set up. Okay, so there is a full beginner's trading course with indicators, right? That second one, right? We're going to take 3 people here. Now, normally we do a whole year course. It's normally like $2,500 for the whole year. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a simple course. It's going to be the same thing we teach over and over, and this is just to show you to hit your goal. So if your goal is $3,000 a week, if your goal is $2,500 a week, we're going to work with you one-on-one so that you can get those trades down in the next 8 weeks so that you're hitting your goal in 8 weeks. So this is an 8-week course, one-on-one, full lessons, everything there. We're going to track all your trades. There's going to be other students with you, trading with you. So this way we can evaluate not just, what you're doing, but what they're doing with the same trades, the same call outs. So it's like mirroring trades. There'll be alerts, when to buy a trade, the trade entry. So full entries and stop losses, everything you need to be successful. And then we're going to see if you are able to see the same thing. And then you're going to basically be the person pointing out trades. And then we'll be validating your trades for you. So slide over here to Full Beginners Trading Course. Click on that. We're going to take the next 3, and we'll be squared away. Now, to get yourself to start off, no matter what you do, scroll down and there's the U.S. approved exchange. All right, go get this. You're going to need this BitNex, which is what we're using right here. You're going to need your BitNex account. If you're on Blowfin, if you're on Pinex, if you're on Kraken, Mexi, KuCoin. Yeah, circle back. It's going to be in my videos, bro. So if you go to my videos, it'll be in there. It's get yourself this. So this is, now the thing about this is pretty cool is that you also get, once you get signed up, there's options for like, so you'll see right here, BitNex. First video I got pinned right there. So use that referral code, JNZS, right? Or you can just go to bitnexcashback.com, type that in, circle back, get yourself this exchange, and then move everything over there. This is what we'll trade on. This also has the cheapest fees, and you get like cashback rewards. They got a bunch of stuff right now. When you trade a coin, you're actually earning free coins. So they give you a lot of cash back and a lot of money to trade. So it's a great way if you're new to crypto, a trader, or I mean, if you're a big time trader, we make $10,000 to $30,000 cash back every year. So if you're a big time trader, you know these exchanges want your business. So you should be getting perks, rewards, VIPs. Like this is a big business, so you need to. If you're trading, you earn the right to make that money, right? It's your money. So what we're gonna do here, guys, the system that we're doing, everything you want to do. I'll have to do this later as usual. Little Benny is screening. Yeah, so swing back. As soon as you guys get set up and you pick over, if you're going to come over and start doing the trade, like I said, we're going to open the spot to 3 people. We don't want to max out here. Go sign up. This will be free, full free trading. So we're gonna walk you through. So when you sign up here, we'll definitely send me a Gmail if you're ready to go ASAP. VCCryptoNation@gmail. That's below the sign up. When you sign up for the trading course, get that in right away because it's going to fill up. Once we have our 4 people, we're going to close it off. Get signed up right away. We're going to get you set up on TradingView. So make sure you go down here and get your free TradingView down here. And then you need your BitNex, exchange. Get those 2 things set up. If you don't know how to do those and you're kind of going through there, send me a Gmail so that I can get you on the phone and we'll walk you through tonight or tomorrow morning and get you set up, and we'll put those videos on YouTube too. How to set up? It's not hard. It's very easy, and then we'll get you all squared away on that. So that's the basics on there. Let's see, and then we're going to teach the same system, and then we're just going to focus. So moving forward with Silva, he's probably going to focus more on Solana right now. Can I use the yeah. Yeah, you can use a credit card to pay and trade, bro. Yeah, Legend. So Legend, man, if you're gonna do it, bro, get in before they take your spot. I talked to Legend earlier today. He's definitely getting in, but like I said, we're gonna do the 4 spots. But yeah, you can use your credit card to trade and do all the things. We'll help you out with that. It's not a big deal. But yeah, just make sure you sign up because once we have the 4, we're gonna close it down because we got the next week is gonna be setting up trades, setting up the alerts, making the trades, getting the trade alerts. So if you're an investor and you want to get trade alerts and you want to see how we're doing it, you definitely want to sign up ASAP so you can start making the trades. This next week is going to be it looks like a really good week coming ahead, and you're going to learn up and down. Go ahead, Silva. What's up?
Oh no, I'm good. I didn't say anything.
So yeah. So now what you want to do, like I said, is just move over to Solana and
Right.
start looking at.
I'm gonna stay on Solana for a minute.
Yeah, I mean it's a good coin, and like I said, it's most of the time it's the retail investors. So you want the ability to have bigger pullbacks when they're supposed to pull, and you want to track the moment. It's easier to track their momentum.
Okay.
And then it
So
just
on Solana, I'm gonna go. I'm going Sol USDT.
Yep. So it's the same USDT. You're just you're just trading on Sol instead, and it's going to be the we'd be hitting it about like a 40x leverage because you're going to get 1% every time anyways. So that's really all you need to do. Yeah. So for you, like I said, we just got to master. Like everyone's mastering the same thing. How do I make 30% per trade every single time? And then once you master the setup, the entry, the pullback, where to put your buy, where to put your limit buy, and once you see that happen over and over and over, then you can start estimating your percentages, and so forth, and then it pretty much just becomes repeat, right? That's pretty simple, man. So for all you guys on TikTok, man, circle back, change your exchange right away to get off of that. You know, you're losing a lot of money on Blowfin, MEXC. They're wicking you out. It's terrible. Yeah, because I had a big talk about with them because they were in. It's just how their system's set up, and the wicks just, you know, that's how they make money. But you know, so they're not too interested in changing it. We've actually had coins where we've been 70% negative on BitNex, and it didn't even close us out. So they're very fair. Um, yeah, they're very good exchange. Good customer service. Can't complain at all. I've been with them for the last year, and I used to be the KuCoin king, then MEXC for a year and a half. I mean, I've used everything, guys, for 3 to 4 months, and plus. So I can tell you, this is the best exchange I've ever used, man.
MEXC was a wild, man. He was on MEXC, boy.
Oh, MEXC was. I mean, I'm not gonna. MEXC was like, they gave us so much extra leverage, and so much I mean, it was crazy. I mean, at one point they were giving us a 30x leverage on the U.S. dollar. I mean, remember when the dollar was crashing?
Yes.
I mean, so yeah, no, I liked MEXC. I mean, I had a lot of conversations with him. I had a good partnership with him. And then they told me they would never KYC, and then they did, and they froze half the accounts, and they unfroze them. But it was like, you just get to the point where it's like, and then they were liquidating us too fast, and it just became you had to have it just became a hassle. So then BitNex had been like, hey, we're just like KYC, except we're not going to do what they were just doing. And then I switched over, and it's been a year, and I'm like, yo, these guys are. And they give so much cash back. It's crazy. I mean, I'm like, damn. I mean, to compare, MEXC would give me a $300 bonus every 2 weeks or something for trading. I mean, I get $2,000-$3,000 back, weekly from BitNex. So they're phenomenal. So I mean,
Just imagine if everybody got to that point. All 3,000 students. That'll be awesome. That's crazy.
So it's crazy. So guys, here's what you're gonna do. So here's BitNex. Let me open this up. So I'm gonna pause this. This is your referral code JNZS, or if you type in your browser bitnexcashback.com. Click on the trade, and I'll show you that in a second. It'll take you right there. Or use this QR. So you can screenshot this. And after you screenshot it, go back into my video and put there's your user ID number. And then I'll put you in a cash giveaway, where they give you cash, coupons. Some of them are $2,000. So they're pretty good, man. I like them. So that's your referral code right there, JNZS, or you can just type in bitnexcashback.com. Screenshot that, and this is what I mean. So if you go to your browser, you type in bitnexcashback, right there, bitnexcashback.com. So bitnexcashback.com. You scroll down. And no KYC, you don't need KYC, no VPN. Hit trade now, and then you just hit that little trade button, and that takes you over to the bitnex.com, and it's going to have your referral codes and everything in there. You just need an email. So simple, man. Use that. Number one, I'm telling you, the best kept secret in trading. They are. I mean, here, I'll show you, let's see. So these are rewards. Hold on, let me see the rewards. So these are rewards. Crazy rewards, right? So let's see. Rewards, right here. When you go, reward history. So here's $2,000 in rewards on 6/17. Here's $2,000 on May 8th. Here's February 26th, $2,000. Here's December 2nd. November 12th, $2,000. $3,000 on November 1st. I mean, another 3,000, another 3,000. I mean, you're not getting these rewards from. I mean, it's crazy. And what they do is it's a future reward. So then what you do is you go to futures, and you simply just use the reward down here. You cash in your future bonus, and then you can trade with it. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so two BitNex accounts. All right, so go to. Maybe I can change. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Before you make a new account, Mike, send me a Gmail at Gmail. So VCCryptoNation at Gmail. VCCryptoNation at Gmail. Send me a Gmail with your user ID number. Okay? So when you signed up for BitNex, did you use a referral code? Yeah. Or did you just sign up? Okay. So what we have to do is they'll see if they can move it. So send me your user ID number for your account, and then I will see if they can move it over to the VIP. Sometimes as long as you didn't if you didn't sign up with some type of referral code, they can just move your account over and just make it cash back. So send me a Gmail. I'll look for that right away. And then did you sign up for the trading already? Did you do the trading? Did you sign up for that? Okay, so two things you need to do. So send me the Gmail with the user ID numbers, and need to do we need to do a trading view. So you need to sign up for trading view, and yeah. So get that over to me so I can get you. I'll look at that in the next couple hours, and I'll send that over. So send me your user ID numbers right away. Normally takes them about 12 hours to look at it. I'll get you squared away. Because if they can move you over without you having to sign up again, then that'll work out. Oh, here. They give out so much, what's this? Major VIP upgrade now live. Okay, BitNex VIP, ride the crypto wave together, up to 87% fee discount. Dude, it's crazy. Weekly mystery box. Enter the VIP zone. I mean, guys, I'm telling you guys, I get these things all the time, and it's like, it's crazy. Like, they're giving back mystery boxes up to $100. Look at these bonuses. This just came out, literally while we're sitting here. They just sent me this. Here's a VIP, so a mystery box up to $100 USDT. I'm normally a VIP 6. Oh, so this is my benefits here. So I'm normally in this VIP 5 and 6. So that means the mystery box they're giving me is worth 2,000 or 5,000 USDT. Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome, Coach.
That's awesome. VIP, so free discount, free reduction beyond expectations, save like never before, higher level, greater discount, more fees, one mystery box every week, open weekly, 100%, 100%. Man, now see, that's what I'm talking about. This is the benefits. These just popped up just by sitting here. I'm telling you guys, they're awesome, man. I love them. I'm going to definitely sign up. I'm going to take advantage of this. Enter the VIP zone, and that's it. Current VIP level, upgraded VIP plan. I'm at 2. You just need to trade 495 in spot. So monthly reports, you've earned. Oh shit! Look at this. So my monthly report is I've saved $187 this month. Exclusive benefits, 12%. Yeah, so I'll dig into that a little bit more. So yeah, my favorite, man, my favorite.
That's okay, Coach. We coming.
Yeah. I mean, I can't beat it. All right, so guys, so Mike, so guys, if you're signing up, make sure you sign up. Mike signed up. Legend, if you're still here, Legend, make sure you sign up. So that'll be one of the four. So we're down to 3 spots left. Get signed up. Get me a Gmail. We need to set up your alerts. We need to set up your indicators. We need to get your BitNext trading account, and the bonus side. And then I need to get. And I'm gonna get so still. You haven't got the. I got to get you upgraded to where you get the bonus. I wish I'd have done this, but last week we did the $500 bonus, but I don't think I had you in there yet because you were still setting up. All right, so guys, before I get off, where do you sign up for the course exactly? So go to the TikTok. On the TikTok, you'll see a website right here underneath my name, makingtradingeasy.com. When you click on that website, it's going to take you over to this section here, which is my link tree. There is a full beginner's course. It doesn't matter if you're a trader that's been trading or you're new. It's a full beginner's course because what we're going to teach you is something that you've never really learned before, which is trading with volume and price action. It's the only way coins go up and down. So it's a very, very simple system to make 30 to 50% per trade every single time. And then we're going to figure out how much money you're trying to make. And we're going to design the trading, how many trades you need, how much the trade has to be for in order to accomplish your goal. So that way it's a personalized trading course just for you. So this way you're only doing the trades that make sense to you. And then that's the entire thing. You'll be in a group of 4 to 10 people that will be trading the same style as you. So as you go through this training course, you'll have students with you that are learning with you, posting with you, and then basically at the end of the 8 to 12 weeks, you have a nice little team of traders that you are used to, you've seen that they're all trading the same as you. So this way when you make trades, you guys are all doing the same thing. So it's easy to find mistakes, make sure that you're doing a good job, make sure that you are trading properly, and it keeps you on track and in the trading course. So this way you hit your goals every single time. Okay? It's very simple. What's up, Mark? Floridian. Okay, guys? It's that simple. It's a very simple trading process. Go back if, in here you can scroll down to the bottom. There's a Gmail. Send me a Gmail if you have questions. Go to the YouTube. When you go to YouTube, you'll see this little section here. YouTube has a section here called videos. You have a home videos and live. Click on the live videos and you will see the videos here that you can go back and watch the entire trade of Bitcoin last week, how we set it up. This is where all the videos would be for you to watch over and over as you develop your trading style for yourself. So everything's there. It's real simple to do. But like I said, we keep the team small. So make sure if you want to learn right now, get in. That's it. 300 to join, and it's a full one-on-one course. Okay, it's all you need. You're going to get indicators. You're going to get so you get all the indicators. You get everything set up for you. You get trade alerts, full system, everything in there. So that's what we're doing this time. Is like after teaching trading for about 10 years, we're developing for crypto a very simple trading style that anyone can do, and it keeps it very, very simple for you to have people around you doing the same thing, and it's easy to follow. So it's not that hard to make money, but more importantly, it's about learning how to actually take profits and stop trading in the wrong direction. So if you're trading during the up, you're good. Trade during the down, you're your possibility of winning is better. You know, it's a really simple structure. You can't fuck it up. You know, that's the whole point. Is like I used to teach, all types of different trades, but then I realized that the more people learn, the more they fuck up. So if you just, this is just basically turn the key. This is gas. This is brake. That's it. You don't need to learn how to drift. That's, we just got to be serious here. I mean, people, let's be honest, like most people fail because they fail. It's their fault. So if we're doing these trades and we're keeping it very like straightforward, then you're going to be successful, So when you start putting all these other things in there and I'm doing a bull flag. Oh, there's a bull pattern. There's a cup. There's a cup handle. You start doing all this other shit, and eventually you become unsuccessful because that shit don't work. It's a very simple thing. You trade with the money that goes up, and then you short when the money goes down. This is where you learn the best entry points, and you learn how to set limit orders at the best price. And if you buy at the best price, then you will always make money. This is not, we just kind of took all the dumb shit out and just said, hey, this is the most common sense way to make money, and if you do it, you will be successful, and that's it. So it's not not rocket science. It's a simple system that we designed about 5 years ago, and then we've taught other systems out of this system. And then I just realized that at the end of the day, you don't need to be a superstar to make money in crypto. You can just do the basics and make a lot of money. So now it's just teaching. We're back to square one, teaching what we were teaching, 5 years ago, how to be profitable, right? All that other stuff just gets to where people just, the more they have to learn, the more mistakes can happen, right? The more you keep it simple, where they say KISS, keep it simple, stupid. The more we keep it simple, the more money you make, right? You don't need to know all the patterns. You don't need to, know what this is a Doge candle, if this is a cross or a hammer, all that shit just confuses you. So if you just simply trade on the basis of money, if money's going in, it goes up. When money's going out, it goes out, man. That's it, bro. That's all. NCNA, what'd you just buy, big dog? Head and shoulders, right? There's so many patterns, and we can go over the patterns, and it's how they manipulate the market. They use those patterns to make money because they know that that's what you're doing. Pretty much the basics. NCNA just bought. What'd you buy, Sam? What's up, Brian? Brian in the house. What up, brother? So, yeah. So that's what we're going to be teaching, guys. So don't forget to follow. Go comment on some videos. Go watch some videos. Get yourself the new exchange set up so you can, get enrolled in cashback and some rewards. And get you all squared away. So this way, you can make money while you're trading. So join us. Don't forget to like the videos, comment, follow. We're going to put some notifications up the next time we go live, which will probably be tonight. We'll double check on this Solana trade. Now that we're trading Solana happens a lot more than Bitcoin. So we can track this trade a little bit heavier. And then, yeah, we'll just double down on that.
Okay, coach.
Yeah. How you feeling, man? Pretty simple?
I'm getting this, man. I'm sticking with Solana for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So this is the beauty of this new trading, doing a simpler trading course for like 4 weeks. During the 4 weeks, it's like allows us to, keep track of your process, right? How you're seeing it, how it makes sense to you, when you're hitting the clues and then when you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I like this. So we're able to see the transition of the knowledge, like, so we know exactly where you are. So now we can, now we can move forward, and okay, we got Solana, we're happy with this. This makes good moves. Now we know we have a 2-hour RSI, a 4-hour RSI. Now we just got to put those into Solana, and then start seeing the buy and sell, and fine tuning the adjustments on the indicators for the different price if we need to, and then just now it's the full process of like, okay, now we have this. Now this is where we put orders. Now let's see what happens with these orders. Then we start adjusting leverage, and we start adjusting stop loss and entry, and then we get that down to where we're in a good zone of winning and hitting our numbers, and then that's pretty much it. But this is what I'm saying. Like before, when we did the course, we had a lot of videos to watch. We had trades to do out there, the 10 trade review. But guys, I mean, it just comes down to like, it's like class. It doesn't matter how old a person is. We're still human, and not everyone wants to do homework. I mean,
I killed the homework, man. I will always do homework. Homework is what put me where I am today.
That's what I'm saying. Like to me, it's like, all right, here's 3 15-minute videos, and then, the next day they'd be like, oh, I didn't watch them. It's like, bro, this is about money. So now it's like trying to, put ourselves in a position where we just kind of solve human nature, which is kind of what slows people down from being successful, and we try to get all the kinks out of it to make this as easy as possible. And then we just record each session and put it on YouTube for the people that have the same problems and all that same thing can find a way to their solution. Like, oh, that's what I do. Yeah, I can't focus. I have ADHD. There's so many things. But this allows us as a one-on-one to work through a very simple blue box, white box. Buy signal, sell signal, retest, entry. It's a very simple process. You can't really fuck it up. So now it's just executing and moving through it, and then watching it happen. And then once it happens, build up bags, build up momentum, build up profits. And then from that point, you just go, okay, I understand what's happening here. And then you see the results. And then from the results, you just start building bigger bags. And then once you become a successful person, it's like, oh, I'm hitting all my trades. Okay, good. Now let's increase the bags. Then we start increasing the bags. Eventually, you get to the $2,000, $3,000 level that we need to be at, and we make 5 good trades a week, and you make $3,000 a week. But we get to see it happen, and we get to watch it, the process follow through, so that there's nobody shortcutting, not having a goal, or not understanding what we're doing. You know what I mean? But that's where we're at. So I need to get you on the upgrade. I need to get you set up for I don't know if I put you in the last one, but I'll get you there. All right, TikTok, I'm going to hop off. I got to get him set up on some other things, and get him a little increase on his trading coupons. And then, so we'll be on a little bit later. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to like some videos, comment so that you get the notifications. Email sent. Let me check that right now. Gmail, VC, Crypto Nation. I'm checking right now, Mike. Boom, got you, bro. Okay, so there's your user ID number. Okay, for my older account, and 392 is my newest account. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna send this over to. I'm gonna start off with your newest account. I'm gonna send this over to the BitNext guys to see if they can move you over without having you start a new account. It's a little bit hard sometimes if you sign up under a referral code. They can't move it because it's on a referral code. But if this isn't, then we'll go through here. Okay. Let's see here. Can you move this user ID number to my VIP? Question mark. All right, I'm gonna send that over to him. That's off and running. He'll get back to me, and then I'll hit you up with an email to let you know where we're at with that. Okay, so now go to TradingView, get free account. Okay, now I'm gonna hit this here. Let me slide over here. Let me go down here to TradingView. Let me grab that for you. Copy. I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna give you a link here, and there you go. Okay, you have TradingView? Perfect. Okay. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so we're good. All right, so I just need to get back on the, for those guys to get back to me on the BitNext. So the next thing for you would be, let me check the BitNext out, and then I'm going to send you, okay, so since you have, okay, let me go back here. What I need is, I'm going to send, okay, I'm going to send back your TradingView user name. All right, so send me back your TradingView username. Where you find that is top right corner. Click on your little circle. You might not have your face there. Go to the expanded, go to the profile settings, right? And then on your profile settings, they're going to have a username right here. Mine is Venture Capitalist Live. You send me back your username, and then I'm going to give you access to the indicators so that when you go to your indicators, you will see the indicators that will then pop up, and it works like this. You go to indicators, you go to invite only, and these will pop up, and I'll give you access to those. All right. And that's it, man. And then after that, once you have that set up, then we just got to get you some videos to watch real quick, get you updated as far as like setup, and then we can start going through the, you can join Silva and just start walking through the setting up these next trades on Solana. All right, makes sense? All right, TikTok, get that to me, Mike. I'll get you all squared away, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, we'll be on a little bit later. Look for the notifications, and we'll double check this Solana. All right, brother. Later, Mike. All right. So, Silva, I didn't get you set up on that coupon, did I? Shit. Yeah, I think... No, because what happened was you were moving the $1,000 from the Crypto.com. Whatever happened with that?
Right. I left that shit there, Coach, because
okay.
it's too hard to pull off of it.
Did you try to put it back in the bank?
No, I did everything except for putting it back in the bank.
Yeah.
I just left it there. I think what I'm going to do is cash it out. Just cash it out all together and not even worry about it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You should be able to put that back in your bank. But they might ask for the a the 2FA if you try to do that. I'm not sure, but I would try to move that over. Okay. The reason why the last one that we just put through, which was for June, I didn't put you on it because you were, because you want to get about, in the TradingView, you want to have about 500 to $1,000 in there. I didn't put you in because you were moving the Crypto.com on like 3 weeks ago. So what I'm going to do here, yeah, because what we do is this. So as the VIPs, we can pick new accounts that we're trading on. They're like our affiliate accounts, and then what they do is they double our value. So what we do is we send them like $500, and then they send us a $1,000 coupon.
I can let me trade that out, and then bring that on to another exchange to buy some crypto, and then copy and paste that into this into BitNext, and then we can do the 500.
Yeah, because that's what I was. Yeah, so that's why I didn't make any of that. So that's why I was seeing where you're at on there. So make sure that you're. See, I just don't. So for me, Crypto.com works so smooth all the time. It's been pretty smooth, so I didn't really worry about it. So that's why I didn't do. That's why I didn't. I thought you had that smoothed over. That's why I didn't hook you up on there. But yeah, we'll get you set up on there so that way you can get yourself,